Happy New Day, CSA. I think I have to choose my own. Hallelujah. Hey. I want you to respond, amen. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, everyone here. Before say, it is okay. Reverend, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And this is a hot seat, like you said. It is a hot seat. Thank you. I would like to share my experience. I don't have any topic. I've been going back and forth, family and all the projects and that kind of. So I chose the experience part. Yeah, I chose the experience part. I was at the age around 10 when my then teacher, Mr. Entry, always talk about meditation, give us stories about meditation. But one thing I want us to do right now is I want to sing one of my songs to thank God for the great things that He has done in my life through CSA. Something beautiful, something good. All my confusion, He understood. All I had is to offer Him was brokenness and strife, and He made something beautiful in my life. All I had is to offer Him was brokenness and strife, and He made something beautiful in my life. Thank you. So Mr. Entry, who was there my teacher, always talk about meditation. Always talk about famous people in the world. Talk about stories about the East. Gandhi, Archimedes, and all. Talks about them. They were all meditators. If he was lying, I don't know that part, but I was so little when, So I get fascinated. I get interested in the meditation story. So one day I asked Mr. Entry, my teacher, that can you teach me meditation? Or can you teach us meditation? And the answer was, meditation is for grown-ups. Meditation is for big people, people who are grown. You small boy, you want to know how to meditate. No. So he brushed me off. But through those stories that he has been talking about, I just want to do what they did. For them to become famous, I want to meditate too. He brushed me off, but that stayed with me. So one day, after I graduate or whatever, left primary, they still hang on me. I always get the edge to learn how to meditate. So I started going to church at a Jubilee Christian ministry in Pig Farm, thinking that I can learn meditation over there. But they were not telling me anything. All they were telling me is to meditate upon the Word of God And I said, that's not what Mr. Entry told me. Mr. Entry said they meditated. I mean, they sat down and meditated. But Mr. Entry didn't explain to me what meditation was. But I was just interested. So I went to the church. They couldn't tell me anything. I still want to know what meditation is. Though I didn't know what it was, sometimes I'll go to the old GNTC. I was so little. And pick up some books over there. I don't know, 6 and 7 Book of Moses, Hare Krishna, Ekanka. I was just reading everything. You know, sometimes these things confuse you. And I'll borrow what Reverend Connie said the other day. He said, you need to stay at one place. You need to get a guru who will teach you. Because I didn't have guru, I didn't have a teacher, I was just reading anything. You cannot learn how to meditate in books. If you are here and you are still not having discovered the practices here, and you still want to read other books, please, you are going to get confused. You need to get attached to our reverend here, who is more experienced. He's the only one who can, you know. I know some people will try to sneak out and read certain books. It's not going to help you. It's rather going to confuse you. So stay, read inspirational books, Roy Eugene Davis's book and things. So one day I went to airport. I was working as a goro boy at the airport, a porter. That's how it is. And I was walking on the balcony. Those times they had a place they sell the bubra and on the. So I saw on the shelf a book, An Easy Guide to Meditation. I said, I need to try that one too, because I've been trying all the books. I need to try that one too. So I bought it, read a few lines, and knew that was my path. This is where I need to be. This is what I needed. So I found the location of Center for Spiritual Awareness in Adabraka. In Adabraka, it took me a year to find that location. One friend of mine, Reverend Minister Yeboah, he works at the Civil Aviation Authority. I asked him, do you know this? He said, yes, I know. Akwano Kofa will soon be free. America buying. His name was Yeboah. Meet me at Chiro. So he told me, say some newo a laundry be newo Adabraka. But he didn't know the location of the church. So what I did was, I was just looking everywhere. And before I saw the center, I saw you moving a Chevy brown car. But I didn't know it was you. I entered there and saw Fifi. And I had some discussion with Fifi. He gave me Truth Journal, and I bought some books from Fifi. So I started coming to church. And I love it. It was one of the moments I enjoyed CSA. Sundays we have church service. Mondays YMCA, exercise. Tuesdays it was evening studies. And I think Thursdays too. And we were having, in the circle class. And Saturday too, we will have all-day meditation. I didn't have any tertiary education. I had only 2 terms in Snap's College of Accountancy when my father passed. So what Reverend was teaching was out of the door. I couldn't understand anything. The only thing I understood was the meditation part, the exercise part, the creative imagination, and prayer. So I took this seriously. I took it very, very seriously. My meditation, I meditated 6 in the morning, 12 in the evening before I go to bed, and maybe in the afternoon. You can't do this in America because you'll be tired all the time. In America, I had challenges because you have to go to work, do other things before it was challenging. But I still stick to my practices. So the exercise part, I love it because I was very young. So I did more exercise. I remember YMCA after YMCA. When I go home, I had so many experiences like, especially when I'm meditating, those times, my spine is like move. Sometimes the back of my, it just shifts all the time. I meditated. So I quit the church that I was going to. I just quit right now, ASAP, because there is some kind of change in my life. Something is moving. Something is, happening. So the creative imagination part too worked good for me. Those are the 4 things that I pick up very good in this church, in this center. Creative imagination, oh man, I love it. It worked perfectly when I was here. I was a porter. I didn't have no education. And also things, low esteem and everything. It's like when I came to the center, things started to move up for me. I got married, and it was through creative imagination. I went to this lady's house, and the father chased me out. I said to myself, you know what? I will definitely marry this lady. I told myself, definitely. I love her, and I'm going to. Oh, the father said, oh, you're a porter at the airport. You don't make no money. How can you take care of my daughter? So I said, I'm going to work on you. Those times I was on fire in CSA. Before I realized, they invited me, and they even performed the marriage, the engagement and everything. And CSA members attended. About Nylander, Mr. Nylander, a couple of them. I think John Blonio too went. A couple of people went at Jolu. You see where I went and married? I was a porter at the airport, but I went and married at Jolu, where the yes, that's creative imagination for you. Creative imagination was just working everywhere. Anything I want to do, I creatively imagine it, and voila. When I want to travel, I said, because of the lady, I became more, open to life. Because when I went to the house, I saw that I need to get myself some kind of standard to be able to, I don't want no one to look down upon me and all that kind of stuff. So I started thinking big. I started seeing myself, in very. So one day, when I was about to travel, what I did about this creative imagination thing was, I changed my name to Obin, Michigan, because I want to go to Michigan. I just want to go to America. So my name was Obin, Michigan. And people were calling me, when you go to airport and say, make sure share Obin, Michigan, people would just, things was just working for me. And so one day we came to CSA too, and I applied for my U.S. Visa application. What happened was, I had a dream. I had a dream before I would go to the interview. I had a dream when I went to Reverend for his blessing. In a dream, Reverend didn't give me his blessing. He pushed me to Reverend Kwame Tichi in the dream. That Nanaya needs some, you use a word. I think you need somebody or something like that. You said something to Kwame Tichi. I said, oh, Reverend. I said, Kwame Tichi on Shirao. Kwame Tichi was sitting at the left, on your left. So Kwame Tichi just blessed me. Do you know, it was just recently I remembered, I just realized Kwame Tichi is an immigration officer. He's the only person who can bless me. Or maybe it is through his blessing that, because he was an immigration officer, I mean, it happened that way. That Reverend pushed me to Nanaya. So that very day when I went, everything was approved. I didn't show, no document to show anyway. It was only creative imagination that I did. A porter cannot produce a document, no documentation. It was only my application. And that's what happened. I went and they gave me 5 years, right there. Right there. You know, so that's how God works. Sometimes we may think God doesn't work here. It does work. We just have to do our practices, have to do whatever, our prayers, and then, you know, the ways are going to open. You know, things are going to open. Things are going to turn around in our lives. It didn't happen only here, but it happened over there too. When I went, just 2 years, I went to Roy. That was, my first time was a retreat. I just went on retreat. When I got there, Roy just loved me. I went there and thought there would be some shadow to Lakemont. That place was so remote. Somebody just picked me in his car and drove me all the way to Lakemont for $250. I paid. And Roy was there 11 p.m. Oh, you are Nana, right? I say, yes. I spoke to Sam about you. Meet me 7 o'clock tomorrow morning for meditation, okay? Let me get you somewhere to sleep. He gave me a place to sleep. The next day, I went. It was a retreat, so it was, you know, a lot of people were there, and, you know. So when I was about to leave, he patted me in the back. I spoke to Sam. Say, you're a good boy. I think you have love for God. Come back and see me. Reverend, thank you. The man loves me. He said, come back and see me. I want you to come back and see me. I came back. In about 2 years' time, I went over there again. It wasn't a retreat. So we had a one-on-one conversation. And he said he spoke with you. And he can see the love of God in me. So he asked me if you have a community, a Ghanaian community in Chicago. I say yes. Take the word to your community. I want you to do that. And I'll help you in any way to succeed. That's what he said. Reverend, when I went and started, that was when my keys came. So I went. I'm a songwriter. So I did some songs in order to bring the Ghanaian community to me. That's exactly what I did. Do the song, put it on. So I sent a copy of the song to CSA. It says CSA Chicago. So anything is possible. When you Google that name, you Google my name, it just pop up. You just listen to it. So Roy said, that's great. So I went there again. I keep going there to see him. me and one guy from South Carolina, he was black too. He got ordained. He was retired from the postal service. So he was from South Carolina. So Roy loves me, and he gave me all the materials that I wanted. Anytime I would get a mail through journal, I'll get how to use creative imagination and everything. And I'll be distributing it. While I was I used to be a taxi driver, so I used to be distributing it talking to people in the taxi, and he allowed me even to use their website. I linked my website to the one in CSA. Ron Linden did that, and the influx wasn't African. I had my first meditation class at the Holiday Inn in Midway, and in that Holiday Inn, I led one lady, a doctor, who's always teaches at the Unity Church of Oak Park. I used to go there too. So he came and gave the speech, and I led a meditation session. People were thinking it was Roy who was coming, so the whole place was like white people. But I mean, everything went good. I saw that I was drawing the white people, but they thought it was Roy, because I had my picture, a Roy picture, and my picture. That's what Roy told me to do. So, and to distribute, I had a print out too. So give it to the postal service, and they distribute it for you. So at least you get at least about 10 to 20 people, at least. So I started doing online classes on meditation, and and that man, he spies everything. One day I was there when he called me. How is Chicago? How you doing in Chicago? So I'm doing good. When family came, everything was slowed down. I started very good, but like Captain Hammond said, action will follow. I remember that. So I thank CSA, I thank Reverend Sasu. He has done, great things. And this path is a path that, we should make sure we do what we're supposed to do. Our practices, our prayers, let's do our part, and God will do his part. I believe. I trust in this practice, and it works everywhere. It does work. It does work. So I'm admonishing or whatever, do what you have to do to make sure this, you continue on this path. So I thank Reverend. I don't want to talk much because it's not a lesson sermon. So, and Reverend, my kids graduate from Illinois State University just recently, and it's all, I just thank God. I don't want to talk too much, but just thank God for what he has done for me as a CSA member. It goes to you too. You can do it. You can do it. Just do your practices, and other things will follow. Thank you very much, Reverend. This is a short one. Thank you, everybody. And
well, from Nane's own mouth, you see, the youth here, sometimes I tell you, don't wait for anyone, just use what you have been given, the practices that we have shared with you, and act on them with faith and life will open up to you. You can open your life to the infinite goodness of this world, and you can do that through meditation, creative imagination, planning your life, living by the grace of God. You know, CSA, we teach that it is possible through right personal effort, and the grace of God to live a fulfilled life in harmony with God's purpose for you and for this world. You see, the reason why I asked him to share his life with you is that his life inspires me. And when he sent me pictures of him and Roy at CSA Lakemont, I said to myself, we have a lot of CSA members who live in America. They may call CSA Lakemont, but most of them have not taken the action to go to CSA Lakemont. They just feel their connection with me, and they just speak to Roy, and that's okay with them. But going to CSA Lakemont itself brings you many blessings. I remember the time I went there, the energy in the spine started, moving very strongly, and it became uncomfortable for me. So I walked up to Roy and said to him, "Sir, whenever I sit to meditate, there is this strong energy that goes on." And he said, "Yes, it's because of this. It's because of this environment." And he shared with me some hatha yoga postures which help to relax my back and spine and make the energy move by itself without that heavy duty energy moving. You see, the first time Nana came here to this facility, he asked me what was needed here. I said, we are now using iPhone to record the lesson sermon. If we can get a video camera. He wanted to get something for the sound at first. And I said a video camera would do. And he said, okay. And he got in touch with other CSA members. He gave the biggest sum, and when the next time he came, he had it in his luggage. He brought it. He said, "Sir, this is what I promised, and it's here." And every Sunday, it has done two things. It has reduced the people who actually come here, because today you are seeing about 20, 30 people here, but there are hundreds of persons who watch our Sunday program every Sunday. The only thing is that their donations don't get to us. But we keep on because it's a service. You understand? It's a service. Look, every ministry now which is using video recording are having less people attending the real service, but more people are watching, and people also send. And so I'll be here, and then someone will call me and say, "Oh, I saw a video of yours, and I would like to be a CSA member." And I tell them, I give them the address. Sometimes some come, sometimes they don't come. But it is all a service. You give as God has given you. And so I thank you for helping make this possible. And also, when you go back, you are going this afternoon. when you go back, whatever help you need, if you reach out to me, I'll make it possible for you. I promise you that. And we all thank you for sharing your experience with us. Those of you who do not know how to use creative imagination, we will be sharing it, on most Sundays with you until everyone gets to know how to use creative imagination. Last time I was talking to the youth, those who want to get to Ghana immigration, and I was saying, don't wait for me to take your hand to Ghana immigration and say, employ this person. See yourself there. I have experiences with so many CSA members who are looking for jobs, and I tell them, just go look for an empty chair and desk, and when you go home, see yourself sitting there.